So, Dr. Nisbett, I just wanted to sort of ask you a couple of questions about what global brands may learn from the work that you've done in terms of how different cultures actually go about making decisions and think about things.
Well, there are two major findings of cultural psychology to date. One is that some cultures are much more interdependent than others who are more independent. Interdependent people have closer ties to other people, especially those who are in some direct relationship with them, like friends and family and company. They have more to do with them, they care more about them, they're more sensitive to socio-emotional cues than relatively independent people. Independent people have wider circles of acquaintances where they deal with people who are, typically in a wider range of occupations, of businesses, and there is a big difference in how likely you are to trust someone in the in-group versus the out-group. Interdependent people trust completely in the in-group. I mean, people that they've gotten to know well, that they feel like they understand what makes them tick. Independent people cast a much wider net. They trust a much wider range of people and sources.
So brands should perhaps think about a strategy for interdependent societies and a different strategy for independent societies.
Well, for marketing, almost surely. There are examples of ads that I have that show the difference of what people believe to be more effective in interdependent societies, which include East Asians in particular, probably South Asians. Eastern Europeans are more interdependent than Western Europeans. Continental Europeans are more interdependent than Americans. But basically, sort of move, the further west you move, the more independent people are as opposed to interdependent. The second difference is cognitively, which is related to the socio-emotional difference. Interdependent people tend to be holistic in their perception of the world and in their cognition. Independent people tend to be more analytic. By holistic, I mean they tend to, holistic thinking and perceiving people cast a very broad net across the environment, across the entire situation. They attend to more cues. They see relationships in the environment better than people who are analytic. People who are more analytic focus in on some object that they care about affecting. They model that object. What are its attributes? What categories does it belong to? What are the rules about those categories that will allow me to manipulate it? And of course, this is not just objects, physical objects, but human beings as well. And there is a connection between these. Interdependent people are more holistic. They're paying more attention to people and consequently to the environment as a whole. More independent people don't pay that much attention necessarily to people in their in-group, and they have the relative freedom to pay attention to some goal, object that they want to affect, because they don't have the social constraints that are characteristic of interdependent societies.